Hey there, you're an all-star. Get your game on and go play. Hey now, you're a rock star. Get your game on, get paid. All that glitters is gold. Only shooting stars break the mold. How are you guys doing in the heat?
Oh, Mion-san! We are doing good. Is that our refreshment? Thanks a bunch. You're such a great manager.
Sorry, I couldn't help myself when I saw him doing the nyah face. I just felt like coming here. I didn't bring this for you, by the way. And don't treat me as your manager without my permission, please. We'd be a stronger team if you were our manager, Mion. I am now your manager. Thank you for having me. Why don't you apply? As manager, I mean. Satsuki smiled at me in a carefree manner. I didn't want to become their manager. It'd be tiresome. I've been coming every week, though, so I'm a quasi-manager already. Well, if I feel like it, I will. Anyway, how's Satoshi-kun doing, coach? Is his batting average improving? Yes, he is doing fine. His batting average is, well, if you buy 3 packs of rice crackers, it's 7 smart. Does that mean it's 30%? Wow, you're doing great, Satoshi-kun. It's not just about the number, Mion. You have to be able to hit the ball when it really counts. It's good that you're aware of your weaknesses, Satoshi-kun. You just continue working on them for now. Higurashi signaled to the pitcher, who then threw the ball. Satoshi-kun looked calm, following the ball with his eyes. Then he swung. Whack. It was a home run in my heart. The ball flew between the first and second bases, then landed in the distance. Oh, Satoshi runs to first. He runs to first. Oh, he runs to second. He runs to second. Oh, is he gonna make it? Is he gonna make it? Oh, he made it to third base. Oh, wait. Oh, no, they caught the ball, and that means he is out. Ladies and gentlemen, oh, he is out. Ladies and gentlemen, he's out. He is out. They caught the ball, and that means he is out. That's great. Good job, Satoshi-kun. I clapped, and Satoshi-kun blushed in response. He repositioned his helmet to hide his face. I'm sorry. Well, he's good in practice and when the game is slow. Higurashi smiled compassionately. It seemed that Satoshi-kun really couldn't perform when it counted. Oh no! Shion, what will you do? I was usually good when everybody expected him to perform. He couldn't. I didn't think it was because of nervousness. He just couldn't do it. I think it's a perfect fit for Satoshi-kun's character. He seems calm at first, but he is actually... Wow, I just froze mentally for a second. I apologize for that. I think it's a perfect fit for Satoshi-kun's character. He seems calm at first glance, but he's actually slow. Numerically speaking, you're a great player, but you need to be able to hit the ball even when things get serious. That's why you were an easy out in the match with the Ukita Jaguars the other day. If he'd been able to hit the ball then, he would have been a hero. What a shame. A hit could have been the offense into the lead, or at least given them an extension. That was when Satoshi-kun came up to bat. He wanted to liven up everyone's expectations, but statistically that wasn't likely to happen. He was on the bat. He was up to bat. He was swung. Oh, that was one strike, one. Swing, oh, that was a strike. Oh, and he is out of there. Aditi insisted on giving him a chance, in spite of the fact that all of the team members had suggested a pinch hitter. I don't know why now I'm like suddenly about to put in baseball into Steam, even though I'm sure there are not any. I don't know fucking why I'm doing that. I don't know why. I just did it. I don't know why. I don't know why I'm doing this to myself. I'm not gonna. I can't. It's too hard to type the word baseball. That's kind of good. What the fuck is this? Well, that's getting ignored, and I am immediately regretting this decision that I have made. Anyway. It would have been perfect if you could have hit it. Why didn't you? Why can't you hit the ball in a situation when it really matters? There was nothing I could do. I know I'm weak in a situation like that. I thought a pinch hitter was a better idea too. It's not about the match, it's about you, Satoshi-kun. Ugh! You need to be more aggressive. Shouldn't you have thought the opposite way? Shouldn't you have insisted that you'd come up to bat no matter what everyone else said? I can't believe you wanted to give away the chance to some pinch hitter. Why are you so weak like that? That's what I'm always telling him. I know that's one of his good points too, but you can be a gentleman at other times, but when playing games, you should be a demon. I think all men should have those two sides to them. You need to let your demon out, Satoshi-kun. You're a native to Hinamizawa, so never forget that you have the demon's blood running through your veins. Are you listening, Satoshi-kun?
I am.
I'm not sure, but what aren't you sure about? We're talking about you. Oh, whoa! Satoshi-kun suddenly started stroking my head. He looked delighted for some reason. A blush immediately spread across my face. I didn't know how to respond. You're giving me advice, right? Thanks. I'll do my best. Hey! Don't you try to fool me. I'm not. I'm just happy that you care about me. I couldn't resist his hand. I couldn't help mumbling like he does. Satoshi-kun ran back to the field, leaving me as red as a beet. Do you feel good when you have your head stroked? Why is this a conversation? It depends. If it were you, I'd have to teach you a new martial arts technique. Ah, what a shame. Alright everyone, gather around. Why don't you split into groups and have a practice match? The Hinamizawa fighters are a sort of a lazy team. The members gather simply to enjoy playing baseball, not to fight for victory. The Okinomiya Titans use this field too, but they practice on a different day of the week. They always train hard using dumbbells and stuff. Our team split into two groups and started a match, retaining their loose atmosphere. I'll keep track of the score. Coach, do you have a pencil? Thanks for helping out. Here. I took the pencil and the clipboard. I didn't know how to differentiate between recording hits and errors at first, but by now I was used to it. Show me what you got, Satoshi-kun. Oh, maybe it'll be too much pressure if I cheer for you too excessively. Just do okay then.
That doesn't sound very encouraging either.
Do your best. Time passed slowly that Sunday. Huge white clouds appeared in the sky. They made me feel healthy. Humans are born to be active under the sun. One of the parents was acting as umpire today. Oye sat on the bench with me. He shouted words of encouragement to the kids while they ran to their positions. Any other baseball coach would constantly berate them, but he was much more generous, like a kindergarten teacher. He let the kids have fun while watching over them. To other baseball players, it might look a little naive. Surprised you guys can do well with only a small amount of practice. Kids in Hinamizawa romp around every day, so the amount of exercise they get surpasses that of the city kids. Besides, too much training is not always effective. Wow, you think completely differently from the Okinomiya Titans. I can understand why their coach hates you. Not about being right. Matches exist for someone to win, after all. Prioritizing victory certainly isn't wrong. I think it's admirable to aim for victory together. But the goal of our team doesn't happen to be victory, that's all. The Hinamizawa Fighters and the Okinomiya Titans had been rivals for a long, long time. Both teams shared the same baseball field, for one thing. Originally, there was only one team, but the people living in Hinamizawa left and made their own. Anyhow, we were rivals. The Okinomiya Titans were strictly about winning, and the Hinamizawa Fighters were just about having fun. That is very un-Hinamizawa about it, things, Hinamizawa Fighters. Surprisingly, our scores weren't that different, which meant our team had something they didn't.
It's demon blood.
Even though I couldn't put it into words, I knew what made that happen. Hey, Team 1, no slacking. You can make up the 2-point difference pretty easily. Team 2, no slacking either. Still, some parents would criticize their coach for being too lenient. But still, others would strongly agree with him. Which side would I take? The latter? Couldn't really say for sure. The reason for this was that Irie had an obnoxious habit of sexual harassment. In particular, he had a fascination with maids. But I should talk about that some other time. I do not understand how those two thoughts connect. I don't know if I agree. I mean, I guess, is it just on principle that he can be fucking creepy? That I get, but... whatever. Excuse me. Satoshi-kun let the ball pass twice to see its trajectory. Then hit it on the third pitch and ran to first base. Oh, he did it. He's so good when he's relaxed. In the beginning, he used to get tired very easily. He's improved quite a lot since then. He really does look kind of like a bookworm. I wonder why he started playing baseball in the first place. All the other kids who joined the baseball team loved baseball. They'd go out to play in the fields outside of practice. That's why they all had an aptitude for it. But this never said that Satoshi-kun exercises intensively in school or anywhere else. He only likes to read. That's why I didn't understand why he started playing for this team to begin with. That's because I invited him. Is that so? You recruited him? Did you notice some sort of hidden talent? Excuse me, can I have a cup of barley tea? Ah, thank you. Idia asked for tea in a suspicious manner. While he constantly joked around, I knew he was actually a very mature person. I assumed he was trying to evade my question. Is there a particular reason? Idia pretended he didn't hear me, but I pressed him on it. In response, he shrugged and began answering the question. I think you might be able to guess. What would be Sonozaki Mion's guess? I quickly searched through the data I had on Satoshi-kun. I came up with Satoshi-kun's family circumstances. He lost his parents in an accident a year ago. Since then, he's been having a tough time at his uncle's home. So, you invited him so that he could vent? Sports are great. You can free yourself through exercise. I thought that as long as he concentrated on something else, he could forget about his troubles at home. He's usually sort of a daydreamer, zoning out all the time. Is he still stressed? I knew Satoshi-kun must be suffering even though he didn't look like it. But Sonozaki Mion never pays attention to things like that, and I had to act like she does. Satoshi-kun got really sick after his uncle took him into his custody. He had many clinical symptoms, but the causes were unknown. Satoshi-kun often got sick after he was taken into his uncle's custody. He suffered from fatigue and migraines. Ooh, I can relate. He suffered from a lack of energy and sleeplessness. The coach, Dr. Idia soon realized Satoshi-kun was suffering from a psychological disorder. Most of the people in Hinamizawa knew how bad Satoshi-kun's environment was. It was natural for him to become sick because he entered that bad environment right after his parents' deaths. Hojo-san cannot express himself freely. Whether it's crying or simply being agitated, he's not good at handling those emotions. That's true. I can't imagine him being angry or crying. Did you know Hojo-san's mother had been married a few times already? Yeah, I know a little bit about that. Satoshi-kun's mother had married a number of men over the years. That meant Satoshi-kun had several stepfathers. He had to deal with strangers coming into his home multiple times, so he was forced to be mature. Satoshi-kun is mentally underdeveloped. He isn't aware of it himself, though. He didn't have enough time to cry, laugh, and throw tantrums in his childhood. He was forced to become a grown-up in just a short time. That doesn't sound right. Doesn't sound right. Children have to behave like children in order to grow. There's nothing positive about being forced to become an adult. Not only was Satoko's current relationship with her aunt conspicuously terrible, that seems like an onward choice. I heard that her relationships with her previous stepfathers weren't good either. That's what you're getting out of this, Shion? Satoko always caused problems. Satoshi-kun would always step in to protect her. I thought his physical symptoms came from the stress. Body trying to warn him. That's why Irie invited Satoshi-kun onto the baseball team. He told Satoshi that he needed a new member, or something like that. He hesitated at first, but after I talked to him at the clinic a few times, he began to open up to me. First, I invited him to come see the practice. Then, I suggested he try batting. I eased him into it. Sports worked excellently for Satoshi. His health quickly improved, and he started to become interested in baseball. He practiced batting. He was soon able to swing beautifully, and he learned how to see the trajectory of the ball. Ah, I can imagine that. He likes to read, so he must have had read a book titled How to Play Baseball, or something like that. He's become a good batter very quickly. He's put forth a lot of effort. Oh, I wish he could actually hit when it comes down to the wire, too. Are you guys close? I think so. Talks to me about his problems, so I guess that's a sign of trust. I felt a bit jealous of how confidently Irie said that. While Satoshi-kun and I were friends, we weren't so close that we'd open up to each other like that. And he doesn't even know who you are, Shion. Oh, are you jealous? Eh? About what? Taken aback, I blushed. Irie started laughing at me. He stay as his good friend. Well, yeah, I'm trying. I didn't know what I was saying. You know, regarding Hojo-san, he seems a little sick again lately. What? Whack! The ball flew hard to the left, but the left fielder managed to catch it. It seemed that the relationship between Satoko and her aunt had gotten worse lately. It was obvious his sickness had something to do with that. Huh? Their aunt is bullying Satoko-chan in a terrible way. He's become worn out after all that. And so, Satoshi-kun is also worn out from covering for Satoko, isn't he? I wasn't interested in Satoko, so I switched the subject back to Satoshi-kun. I didn't know much about Satoko. I knew that she was a big part of Satoshi-kun's life, but I'd never been interested in her until today. She must have been building up self-esteem and taking care of her unreliable brother. That was all I knew about her, but considering Satoshi-kun's personality, even that goofiness of his might have been an act. Maybe he was trying to make her feel good about herself by letting her take care of him, if only unconsciously. While he's alone, he's surprisingly strong. I realized that only recently. So I couldn't help but think that his whole life is constantly affected by Satoko. Satoshi-kun managed to get along with his stepfathers, even though it was a key experience of stress. He was even getting along with his aunt. But in order to protect Satoko, he always had to step in and suffer. I didn't really know anything about Satoko, but I had to admit I felt hostile towards her. I felt jealous because she was monopolizing him. It seems their aunt has been tyrannizing Satoko-chan even more lately. Yes, that's right, Shion. Get mad at the fucking child rather than the abusive aunt. Way to fucking go. God damn, you know... I know / hope this is just the start of your descent, if you will, but... best way I could put it is Shion was below Chloe. I'm not even gonna put it that way. Shion was just like, I have been very, if you want to put it that way, mad at Shion since we read Watanagashi, and reading this, she has been slowly rising way back up, but now she just plummeted. Like, goddamn, Shion, I'm very disappointed in you. Although I knew you are a sassy, self-centered, bad bitch, so I don't know, maybe I shouldn't have expected more from you. That must be what's causing Satoshi-kun's sickness. Notice Irie, though, is saying the aunt is doing the thing. I think that's a very important distinction here. And somehow Shion is going to twist this as Satoko is being victimized That is what is causing it. Instead of the aunt is victimizing. Notice the difference there. It's passive in Satoko's case. It's not in the other way around. Yet Shion chooses to be angry at Satoko. Which kind of, just really says what Shion's real intention is there. That it's not her. She really just cares about having Satoshi herself. And that's why she's going to the thing in this situation that Satoshi cares about, that Satoshi is protecting. And she is jealous. She doesn't care. Not really. Like, if it were her, I would she really be upset, or would she, hell, play it up like we saw her kind of do earlier with those thugs, and try to get Satoshi to do it nicey nice for her and pat her on the head, like, cause she just gets freaking damn. Iria heaved a sigh. As he said, Satoshi-kun had been absent a few times lately. He seemed a bit tired too. He looked normal when around everybody else, but he looked a bit depressed when he was alone. So you invited him to join the team to relieve his stress, didn't you? Yes, that's right. But he looks stressed again now. How can we save him this time? Well, allow me to introduce you to this maid uniform. Da, da, da. I don't know. Iria smiled, powerless. I couldn't help feeling a bit disappointed about that, because Satoshi-kun put his trust in him. Just between you and me, Satoshi-kun recently told me that he wanted to leave the team. Eh? How come? Claimed he was tired of it. That's what he said. I believe he actually wants to spend more time with Satoko-chan. He thinks that Satoko-chan might end up being tortured while he's at practice. I think he's concerned about that. I was left speechless for a while. Satoko again. Satoko? Why? It's Satoshi-kun. I have to sacrifice so much for her. Because of the fucking aunt. He literally just said, because of the fucking aunt, you stupid also child. Just by ignoring her, it's just another way. Wish I knew we couldn't do that. That's the case then. The blame lay with his little sister. Of course. That makes sense. I knew how badly she'd been treated. But that, because she made worse herself. It was her fault that she couldn't establish these relations for their aunt. She said to go more mature, like such she could. Her whole life wouldn't have gotten so bad. Such good would not have to suffer those intimate blows. In the meantime, the masters impacted match. And it was worth watching in the mirror. Shion, you have gone from Tori to Eric Cartman in the span of one stream. I hope you're happy. Maybe it's really team with this pretty goofy enough. This guy turned to too. It's very depressing. Alright, I'm just not gonna do that. I'm even gonna actually feel bad. Hold on. In the meantime, the baseball team's practice match had become one-sided. It wasn't even worth watching anymore. Members of the losing team were just goofing off. The sky had turned cloudy, too. It was depressing. Didn't look like it had rained soon, though. The gray sky hadn't brought along any cool air. It felt disgusting. Iria became quiet. He was looking down around his feet. I, meanwhile, just stared at Satoshi. To me, he didn't look active anymore. He was once able to enjoy playing baseball, and he felt as fine as he looked. But he got sick again. Yes, because the relationship between Satoko and her aunt had deteriorated. Couldn't help but say it. Shouldn't we do something about Satoko instead? Really, Shion? That's actually you. It was just a murmur. But Irie had definitely caught it. What do you mean, Sonozaki-san? It's not that complicated. If Satoko were stronger, Satoshi-kun wouldn't have to deal with the stress. I think Satoko is the cause of everything. I don't know about that. Yes, you do. If she didn't cause any trouble, he wouldn't have to step in, would he? He wouldn't have to take over in the fight between Satoko and her aunt, right? Satoshi never got scared of any trouble. No matter how formidable the enemy, he'd bravely stand up to protect the weak. I knew that because I could vividly imagine it. Whenever their aunt chides Satoko, Satoshi steps in, protect her. The aunt probably didn't like it, so Satoshi didn't have to fight. The aunt would attack him anyway. The fight would then be between the aunt and him. Satoko might then tease the aunt by sticking out her tongue, hiding behind his back, and pretending to be scared. Wow, Shion, I hope that's not true. I don't think it is true because we are talking about a child that we know comes out of this situation that we are talking about right now with some really fucking bad PTSD. Not that there's good PTSD, but you know what I mean. He'd never think about how deeply he was being hurt. Ooh. Because of Satoshi-kun had cornered and stressed. I'm surprised to hear this from you, Sonozaki-san. I thought you were Satoko-chan's friend, a big sister kind of figure. Thought you'd always be on her side. What you said is fucking cruel. Surprising to me. Does Shion actually care about Satoko? Like, for real? Like, is it... Like, at any point... Does she care about her beyond an extension of Satoshi? Irie looked at me suspiciously. I could tell what he was thinking about me. I'd said too much. Sonozaki Mion and Hojo Satoko are friends. They're close, so Mion should have been encouraging her after the situation at home got tougher. That's what Mion was supposed to do. That's what a fucking human being capable of empathy was supposed to do, Shion. Like, I don't know what the fuck you're thinking here. I had totally forgotten about that and so spoken as myself a lunatic. It's only natural that Irie would give me a suspicious look. I mean, the fact that your thought is just the twin aspect of this is already extremely concerning. He might end up changing his impression of Sonozaki Mion entirely. I'd have to apologize to her about this and ask her to put things right. I totally messed up. And so, I didn't think I'd said anything wrong. That's the real problem here. I'd objectively looked at the... No. I'd objectively, quote unquote, looked at the situation and made a modest proposal. Yeah, a modest proposal. That is if that wasn't referenced in the original text, that is very good on the Manga Gamer for phrasing it like that. To be honest, I was simply afraid that he might leave. There, okay, there's the self-awareness. All right, Shion, maybe you're not all gone yet. I was simply afraid that he might leave the team. I couldn't go to the school in Hinamizawa. All right, Shion. Alright, you're a heartless monster, but I can at least kind of... Damn it. So the baseball field was the only place where I could see him. I could even say that he was my reason for living. That's right. I was in love with him. But I wasn't going to tell him how I felt, for I was satisfied just being by his side. Clearly that is not true. I certainly couldn't ask for anything more. After all, I couldn't reveal my true identity. I had to pretend to be Mion in order to live in Okinomiya. I thought that maybe I should leave Okinomiya in order to be free. But that's stupid. No matter how tough my life might be, I'd prefer to be here, with Satsuki stroking my head every now and then. Why did I love him that much? I read about it in some manga. You don't need a reason to be. I was surprised at myself for being like this. Calm down, shion. I breathed out slowly, then held my breath. Oh, I hope someone heard that. Trying to slow my throbbing heart. Felt a bit calmer. At that point, a clear thought came into my head. I want to be with Satoshi. So, I want him to stay on the team. So, I want to get rid of his concerns and stress. So what? So, what can I do to achieve all that? My head started to cool down as I heard the umpire shout, "Game, set, and match!" "1,500 seconds. All it would take is 1,500 seconds. Then I would kill the child." Wait a minute, that's not right. Some days I see him, sometimes I don't. Clear sky gets cloudy, and rain will always stop eventually. Not his absence, just like that. But he was actually on the verge of a breakdown. Notebook, age 19. The rainy season was just around the corner. The air had become so humid that my shirt stuck to my skin. It had been a few weeks since Satoshi-kun had stopped showing up for baseball practice. I looked for him as soon as I arrived at the field. He's not here yet. Did I get here too early? I want to see him playing in the field right when I get here. I had started arriving late because of those feelings. However, he wasn't here today either. I didn't even bother hiding my disappointment anymore. Everybody knew by now how I felt. The team members from Mion's class came over to try and console me, but I shooed them away. "What's going on, Sonozaki-san? You feeling sick?" Even Irie couldn't comfort me. I was aware that he, too, knew why I was like this. "I'm going home. I don't feel like watching the practice today." "Look, we're having a meeting with the Okinomiya Titans later. I wanted you to be there because you're our manager." "Treat me like a manager. Never agreed to be one." Irie looked down, not knowing what to say. "Alright. Please help us again when you feel like it. Maybe I won't be coming back. If you really need a manager, look for something else. Please do come again, whenever you feel like it. Satoshi-kun will be sad if you're not here when he comes back." I ignored him and turned around. I'd already set up my schedule with Mion, so I didn't have to ask her every time anymore. I tried to contact her a couple of times to ask how Satoshi-kun was doing in school, but I hadn't been able to get through to her. Apparently, the hag sensed that I might be in contact with Sis. In other words, Sis was being watched. As a result, it hasn't been easy to contact her. Gasai, who had been helping me contact her, seemed to also have been marked. People knew he was loyal to me. I hadn't seen him for a while either. All I could do was wonder how Satoshi-kun was doing. I was frustrated because there was no way for me to know. My head was filled with worries. But something surprised me out of the blue. Somebody called out to me when I was about to leave the field on my bike. "Is it him?" Oh. This is not expected. "Mii-chan, hello." I'd never seen this girl before. Luckily, she called me Mii-chan. There's only one person who refers to Mion that way, as far as I know. "Rena, I'm surprised to see you here." Her name is Rena. Wow, you are not her friend. Her real name is Reina, but she wants to be called Rena. I'm pretty sure we have never been given the chance to find out. I may be wrong about this, but I'd be willing to. I wouldn't say I'd really be willing to, but I feel pretty confident saying that Mion would have just called her Rena, like Keiichi does. Yeah, I mean, yeah. When it was with we were with Keiichi recently. Actually, well, it wasn't recently. It would have been Watanagashi, so that was a little over a chapter ago. And he just straight up was like forgot her name was Reina. And well, I guess okay, Shion doesn't interact with her. Fine, fine. Well, then, well, that's my point, though. That's like that Mion wouldn't do that. That was my point, right? So that's what we call her. We moved here in April. Oh well, then again, and also double to be fair. She has only been here a couple of months. All right, Shion, I will stop giving you a hard time. Moved here in April. Some information on her, but it was all ambiguous. This was still a bit uncertain about her since she's so new. It was hard for me to handle someone like that. I didn't know how to act around her as Mion. So I decided to pretend to be in an obvious sulky mood. That way she wouldn't talk to me as much, assuming that Mion was simply feeling bad. That doesn't sound like a very Rena thing to do of her. You might be in for a very harsh awakening, Shion. Well, that's how I really am anyway. Are you going home, Ii-chan? Yeah, I'm not feeling well. Sorry. Let's go together. Oops. Yeah, you really blew that one. I wanted to say that I'd rather be alone, but there's only one road to Hinamizawa. So asking to be alone would look odd. The only way to not seem suspicious would be to walk home with her. Yeah, let's go. And I quietly nodded and locked my bike. Chan, do you have an umbrella? Oh, might rain soon. Well, let's hurry a bit since you don't have one. She predicted we were attacked, pouring rain on her. We ended up taking shelter in a small shack in front of a bus stop. Wow, again with the bus stop, huh? Well, I mean, it is the bus stop. It's pouring, but it doesn't look like it's going to last long since the sky over there is clear. Yeah. I heard the sound of rain pattering on the rooftop and the raindrops jumping into puddles. It sounded loud, but it made me feel strangely calm. I zoned out for a moment. Then Rena talked to me while looking up at the rainy sky. I was worried about you. You looked so down. All the baseball team members knew I was depressed because I hadn't seen Satoshi-kun recently. Most of them attend the school in Hinamizawa, so it wasn't surprising that she knew as well. Wait, I gotta... Oh, wait. I know it'll probably be explained here, but I didn't think... Also, fuck that. Could not have done that. Uh... That's right, I remember. Okay. Okay, yeah, that did happen. Alright. Okay, sorry for that. Yeah. Okay, I think I'm all right. That's gonna be later in this. So that was stupid of me. I hadn't been able to contact Sis these past few weeks, but I was sure she had an idea of how I feel about Satoshi-kun and how I would feel if he didn't come to his baseball practice. This was probably pretending to act a little depressed during her day today in Hinamizawa to avoid creating a big gap between our moods. Would she? Neither of us knew the details about the other right now, so she wouldn't be able to answer if others asked her what was wrong. She'd only be able to say, "Leave me alone." That might lead more people to become worried. Benna must have thought Mion was depressed. That must be why she came all the way to see me. She must known what was going on because she knew that I was at the baseball field. Do you feel lonely because Satoshi-kun is avoiding us? Having deduced what had been going on with Satoshi-kun from what she just said. Having deduced what had been going on with Satoshi-kun from what she just said. He'd been distancing himself from others lately because of exhaustion. That's what it sounded like, at least. He looked like he was very worried about Satoshi-chan. Oh, Shion, don't do it. I think he's really on edge. I feel bad for him. He really cares about his sister. He has a lot of courage. What I'd said sounded hollow, because I knew too well how much of a burden Tentacles had become. But I think he'd feel even worse if you also looked that depressed. Think? I don't want that. I know. If you really don't, then you need to smile for him. Otherwise, he might feel really cornered. I know you're strong. You can smile even if it's just pretend. So, I want you to smile no matter what. Know that lies can become true sometimes? What she was saying in a nutshell was this. Both Satoshi-kun and Satoko were totally wiped out. If Mion was also depressed, even though she's the sort of person who usually lightens the mood, their situation would be stuck in a vicious cycle. Rena sounded more like she was trying to give me advice than trying to console me. Rena sounded more like she was trying to give me advice than trying to console me. She must be more mature than she looks. This told me that she was a funny girl with a few bad habits. Yeah, that's a good word for it. But she seemed to have another very mature side to her. Do you love Satoshi-kun? Yeah. Though I shouldn't have told her that, I immediately responded, Harada is just a fucking therapist for both of these twins, isn't she? In that case, why don't you smile? Anna smiled herself. I believe Satoshi-kun will feel better if he sees your smile. I know you feel powerless now, but your smile will give him strength. I know what you're saying, but it's not that easy. Anna giggled and nodded. He'll come back after he's done with his part-time job. His part-time job? I almost asked that question, but I managed to stop myself. The tone of Rena's voice, it sounded like it was something everyone knew. Part-time job, huh? I wonder when it'll end. Till he has enough money, I guess. But he'll finish by Satokon's birth. He'll finish by Satoko-chan's birthday at the latest. I tried to figure out what was going on from what she said. I had to listen very carefully to uncover the whole picture. It sounds like he's trying to buy his aunt and uncle an anniversary gift. Satoshi-kun seemed to be working in order to make some money. I don't think it's easy to find a job when you're still in school. This might have had something to do with it. His job only seemed temporary. It seemed to have something to do with Satoko's birthday. It wasn't that difficult to figure out. Satoshi-kun was working and saving up to buy his little sister something expensive for her birthday. He was trying to comfort her, even though he was so torn up himself. Satoko again. Satoshi-kun was already worn out because of her, and how he was now exhausted now for her sake working, even though he was exhausted, and he was now working for her sake, even though he was exhausted. So stupid. It would be easier for him to just forget about Satoko. I was startled when I realized. I was startled when I realized Rena was looking straight into my eyes. She was smiling, but her eyes looked creepy. I never voiced what I was thinking, but she was looking at me as though she'd figured out that I was blaming Satoko. She beamed when she noticed my fear. She smiled as though she understood that I thought that way because of love. She was giving me the creeps. I could hear thunder roar in the distance. The rain began to pick up. Do you feel jealous of Satoko-chan because she monopolizes Satoshi-kun? I avoided answering immediately this time, but Rena seemed to know what I was thinking already. Okay. Okay, so then if Renata has already been, even if whether or not Mion does feel this way, adds to how Rena is acting. I mean, not that it needs adding to, but back in Watanagashi. I wouldn't be upset even if you did. That's just how it is when you're in love. Hey. You've been encouraging Satoko-chan despite that. That's admirable. Of course I have. She's my friend. Sounded so fake. 'Cause you are! I felt like spitting on the floor. 'Cause you are! All we can do is encourage Satoko-chan and Satoshi-kun. That's all we can do. I don't know how to save them from their situation. Did something crash? Did this crash? Oh no, God, did it crash? No, we're good, okay. Oh, Shion, you're doing it again. You're doing it again, Shion. Stop it, Shion. Stop it. Stop it. Stop it. Satoko was relying on Satoshi-kun way too much. If he were stronger, he wouldn't have to suffer in her place. You sound really straightforward. Rena nodded with an unflinching smile, even though my remarks could be taken as harsh. What was this mysterious girl thinking? It was difficult to get a read on her. Maybe Satoshi-kun feels that way a little too. Eh? Rena kept smiling, but her smile looked strangely cold. I think he's tired of protecting Satoko-chan, and he's aware of that. Given the type of person Rena is, I don't think she'd say something if she wasn't certain of it. Because of that, she must have been confident in what she just told me. Why do you think that? He said so. What? Satoshi-kun secretly confessed to her? Rena asked me to keep that way. Satoshi-kun told me he felt tired. I think he was feeling guilty, though. I mean, yeah, because he's not a lunatic. I don't think he would say something. But, however, it wasn't likely that Bennett was lying. I just met her, so I didn't know what made me feel that way. But my hunch told me that he was telling the truth. I heaved a huge sigh. Satoshi-kun must have gotten so tired that he couldn't help telling someone. Even so, even if he thought that way, he wouldn't tell somebody so easily. Maybe Brenna led him to, so might be capable of something. I don't understand this girl. It had only been a little while since we'd met, but I'd already started talking about something I was keeping deep inside of me. Does she have some kind of supernatural powers to reach into people's minds and drag out what they're thinking? It suddenly hit me that I was sitting with this creepy girl in a tiny shack. I'd been dragged into her strange world. I don't think Sis has realized Rena's real person. He thinks Rena is just a funny girl with some strange habits. He would have told me if she knew. Surely she would have. Would she have? I guess Satoshi-kun must trust you a lot if he confessed that to you. I'm a little jealous. It's not because he trusts me. I think it's because I've experienced the same thing. You what? Did you also have to cover for your siblings once? Footsteps always followed me. They even came to my bedside and looked down at me. What? Sorry, Nana. What are you talking about? I turned around to face her and got the chills. But she was smiling. Her eyes looked ice cold. I trembled, froze, my eyes open. Have you experienced anything like that? I guess not. Probably. Then I kept laughing self-derisively, trying to figure out what she... Have you ever thought of leaving Hinamizawa and moving to a big city? Have you ever thought of doing something like that? I didn't know how to respond. Anna waited for my answer, urging me to speak with her silence. No, I love it here. Yeah, that's right, isn't it? I knew that. It didn't seem like a good idea to lie to her. Anna has some kind of power. She can read people's minds just by seeing the slightest change in their expressions. So I had to tell her the truth. You'll be okay if that's true. Oyashiro-sama won't get mad at you. Oyashiro-sama? Oyashiro-sama. That's Hinamizawa's guardian deity. I couldn't understand why she mentioned that name. My mind stopped working for a moment. That's right, Oyashiro-sama. She calmly repeated the name as if trying to teach me something. Yeah, I remember. Oyashiro-sama never allows heathens to desecrate Hinamizawa. Oyashiro-sama will never allow villagers to leave either. Those are the rules. Slowly, I recalled the fear of the curse which supposedly caused the dismemberment murder and the death of the Hojo couple. When I was sent to the institution, I had this fear. I was scared that if I went to that far-away boarding school, I would fall under the curse. But I should be okay. I escaped from the school and returned to my hometown, to Okinawa to be precise. But it should be okay according to the kids' rules, because I love Hinamizawa. The hag forces me to live this suffocating life, but I still choose to stay in this place. I don't believe I'm breaking Oyashiro-sama's rules. Even though the Somozaki family had selfishly banished me to a remote place, I came back here anyway. Yashiro-sama should bless me for that. I guess I'm trying to convince myself that the curse doesn't apply to me, but why would it? I'm blessed. I'm blessed! But I think I'm still afraid of it. Blessed as I am, I love this place, so I don't think I qualify for Oyashiro's curse. You could even call me a model villager. Yes, I think so too. But I'm not sure about Satoshi-kun. Why? Satoshi-kun wants to leave Hinamizawa and run far away, even if only unconscious. Yeah. I gave an inaudible cry. I was feeling sad that Satoshi-kun hadn't shown up for practice. He still lived in Hinamizawa, so I'd never really even considered the thought of him going away. Are you saying that he wants to skip town? Yes. He's not even aware of it himself, though. He probably didn't notice it until Oyashiro-sama stood by his bed. I still had no idea what she was talking about. Hello. I continued trying to figure out what she was saying. Everything he's going through is a sign of Oyashiro-sama's curse. You feel like someone is watching you from a distance, follows you, and watches from right behind you. After that, you start hearing an extra. It only happens outside at first, but you start hearing it even inside your house after a while. Then Oyashiro-sama keeps watching you even when you're sleeping in the dark, right by your side, waiting silently for you to admit your sin. Satoshi-kun told me he was having nightmares at first, so I asked him what kind of dreams he was having, and those dreams he was having, as it turned out, were just like mine. I warned him that the presence would become bigger. He'd hear an extra footstep and feel the presence watching him in his sleep. I told him to come to me if that ever happened. He must have been suspicious at first, but just as I predicted, he started to feel Oyashiro-sama's presence more strongly. He finally realized he could talk to me about it. Then it didn't look like she was joking. He just calmly told me what had been going on. I couldn't even move. I couldn't tell if her words were a joke or the truth. I only feel stunned. I'm from Hinamizawa originally, but I moved to Ibaraki Prefecture right before I went to an elementary school. However, when I couldn't adjust to my new environment, Oyashiro-sama frequently started telling me to return to Hinamizawa in my head. But I couldn't do anything since I was just a little kid. I was forced to live there, though I felt threatened by Oyashiro-sama's voice. Then a pause. It looked like she didn't want to go into the details of what followed. In general, it confused me even more. Anyway, I was able to come back here in the end. Oyashiro-sama forgave me. I haven't felt his presence anymore since then. Satoshi-kun is being subjected to the curse even though he's in Hinamizawa. Why? There can only be one reason. It's because he wishes to abandon Hinamizawa. Oyashiro-sama won't allow that. After a series of inner monologues, he confessed. You know he's working part-time, don't you? The teddy bear he's getting for Satoko-chan costs about 100,000 yen. That is an expensive fucking teddy bear! He's trying to get the money by her birthday. Have you noticed yet? Think about it like this. If he'd had that amount of money, that'd be enough for him to run away somewhere far from here. He unconsciously started to think about that, about leaving Satoko-chan behind. But he'd feel very guilty. As you pointed out, Satoko-chan is a burden on him. He's not stupid, so he's aware of that. He just doesn't want to admit it because he's the one who's supposed to protect his little sister. He's been struggling with himself. He thinks he's working to please Satoko-chan on her birthday. But he also feels that he might be deceiving himself because he unconsciously wants to skip town with that money. I don't think he should run away. Even if he did, he'd regret it for the rest of his life. Oyashiro-sama knows that. That's why Oyashiro-sama is trying to warn him. I hope Satoshi-kun stops thinking of abandoning Satoko-chan. He's working hard to make it to Satoko-chan's birthday, which is a couple of days after the Watanagashi festival. He's pushing himself too hard. He believes it'll end when Satoko-chan's birthday comes. The curse keeps cautioning him, while he tries to figure out whether he should leave or continue protecting her. The torrential rain didn't seem to want to stop. It kept pouring down on the galvanized iron roof, producing a loud noise. Yet in the shack, it fell completely silent. What the hell was Rena talking about? I couldn't grasp even half of what she was saying. The only thing I had figured out is that Satoshi-kun was struggling, confused, and in lots of pain. He's suffering from Oyashiro-sama's curse? And Nena has experienced that before? Watanagashi Festival was right around the corner. Oyashiro-sama's curse had struck 3 years in a row. There was no guarantee it wouldn't strike a fourth time. Satoshi-kun was subject to Oyashiro-sama's curse even now? Was he going to skip town? Is he going to be the next victim of Oyashiro-sama's curse? Either way, he might disappear forever. Could I do something to prevent it? I didn't do anything. It all come to a hopeless end. And started feeling a sense of dread. I didn't buy this crazy story Nana told me. But if something really was happening to Satoshi-kun, which might bring about some kind of end, I couldn't help feeling scared. It's true, isn't it? My instinct is always correct. Oh, it's the gnome! It's the gnome again! I decided to contact Mion despite the danger. Mion got upset at first, but she... Okay, so we're just like jumping ahead. Mion got upset at first, but she had to listen to me. Yes. What's going on? Looks really stressed out. Can't even talk to him. What do you mean? I don't know what's going on because you can't talk to him? Sorry. Yes. Give me another chance to trade spots again. That's fine, but I'm kind of busy lately attending meetings for the festival. What are you planning to do? Another part-time job? I'm going to your school. Da, da, da. Notebook, page 21. Notebook, page 24. Wah, ah, 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 ah. Possessed. Yeah, sounds about right. We're already at chapter 4. Few new tips. Oh. Why don't I relate my encounter with that creepy girl in the rain? Her name is Ryugu Rena. Her real first name is Reina. I have no idea what kind of girl she really is. One thing is certain. She has no relation to the Sonozaki family. She has no relation to the 3 families as a whole either. The Yugu family used to live in Kamizawa, but then they moved to Ibaraki. That was before she went to elementary. They returned to Hinamizawa some years later. Fugurena said she came back because Oyashiro-sama told her to. I don't know what that means. She said it was the curse of Oyashiro-sama. That Oyashiro-sama had stalked her. I think that was probably a hallucination, but Satoshi-kun had been interested in that experience. She said that Satoshi-kun was also experiencing Oyashiro-sama's curse. Satoshi-kun told her that he was being followed by some unknown existence. He was surprised to learn that Rena had the same experience before. What is Oyashiro-sama's curse? Why did Rena and Satoshi-kun have a similar experience? I believe that means that somebody put them under surveillance. Somebody must be spying on the next victim of the curse. Since Rena and Satoshi-kun both blindly believed in Oyashiro-sama's curse, they interpreted it as Oyashiro-sama's presence. If paranoia kicked in, they'd feel as if they were experiencing paranormal phenomena. Judging from what Rena said, it seems that Satoshi-kun had been put on surveillance since long before Watanagashi. So, one question comes to mind. Why were they watching Rena? I'm assuming that the surveillance was placed on a victim-to-be of that year. If so, I don't understand why Rena went through it. Why did they watch her, even though she was living so far away? If she was considered somebody who abandoned the village, I could understand. But she didn't fall victim in the end. Maybe she was forgiven because she came back to Hinamizawa. I guess she still knows something I don't. What do you think? Should I keep going with the Tory voice or no? I'm kind of stuck on it now, but I can stop if I want to, totally. It is like so wrong for Shion though. Satoshi looked terrible. When he went home, he had to mediate a fight between Satoko and their aunt. He became mentally exhausted. He went to work every day. He became physically exhausted. He no longer communicated with his classmates. He's either slept on his desk or was gone somewhere during lunch. He used to be really gentle. It was painful, suffering like that. On top of all that, he was dealing with the curse of Oyashiro-sama. He must have been completely, totally, absolutely exhausted. With certainty, that curse was a form of surveillance by those planning to victimize Satoshi that year. That means that the other victim was in the same situation. Satoshi's aunt had also been. Did she notice any presence? What about the others? The victims of the previous incident? I need to investigate the facts in order to prove the curse on Satoshi was actually just surveillance. Surveillance? Paranoia? Really the curse? Da, da, da. Alrighty. It is. Okay, half of me is like, I can keep going. I'm fine. The other half of me is like, I said I could keep going. I was fine. And we know what happened then, didn't we? So, let me see here. I'm going to go have some cider. What I will do. That is what I will do. So, citizens, I will be back in a moment, and until then, this is going to be farewell.